Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Commission Chambers of City Hall, City of Richmond, and to the first meeting for this year. In case we haven't stopped writing 22 on our checks and other documents, it's a new year already. I saw in the news a couple of days ago that January 8, and I don't know who came up with this, was officially the last day that one could say Happy New Year. Well, what do I care? Happy New Year to all of you. And right up to December 30, we can say Happy New Year. Good to see all of you here tonight. I know there are several things on our agenda. For those who are here for the first time, there are copies of the agenda there in the little pocket right up toward the front, hanging on the divider there. One of the things I enjoy doing also, along with the clerk, is inviting members of the community to lead us in our invocation and in our pledge to the flag. We begin with those prior to the rapping of the gavel for certain reasons. I'm going to ask at this time, and I appreciate so much the cooperation of our employees, our department heads, and even members of the community to do these two things, the invocation and the pledge. I'm going to ask that our IT department director, Jonathan Porter, will come and lead us in the invocation.
Let's pray. Father, as we come together for this meeting this evening, Lord, I just pray that you help us to keep your will in our hearts and minds. Lord, help us to always be mindful of our actions and our words, Lord. And I pray, Lord, that you be with our leaders as they make decisions that affect our community. And we just pray that you guide and direct as always. Lord, we love you, we trust you, and we pray that you continue to be with us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jonathan. For the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, Kenneth Hurt, who is a Life Scout, and we appreciate the many scouts and their leaders who have come to do again just that, to lead us in the opening of our meeting.
Will you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like to say anything tonight about your unit or what you're doing, what you're working on?
Well, first off, I would like to thank the city for all the support it gives to Troop 401. We graciously appreciate it. And personally, I am Kenneth Hurt. I'm a junior at Madison Central, Life Scout. I'm currently working on my Eagle rank.
How close are you to it? Do you have all your merit badges in your service project? Well, how are you?
I have 5 more merit badges to go and a service project that I'm still looking for.
Stick with it, buddy. That means a lot. I was a Life Scout. I didn't make Eagle. I quit. Started chasing girls. Don't do that. Stay with it. Good.
I will stay with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. And you will notice tonight we welcome the 2 newly elected and sworn commissioners. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goebel.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. In our packet is the minutes from the regular meeting held December 13, the 6 p.m. meeting, and the workshop meeting that was held December 20, our 9:30 a.m. meeting. May we have a motion, please, for approval of those 2 sets of minutes?
I move.
Commissioner Newby.
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel.
Yes.
Commissioner Newby.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-04, an order of the City of Richmond promoting employees to Master Patrol Officer. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has a policy of promoting police officers for the position of master, and whereas there are several officers that have successfully met the requirements of master police officer who have submitted their applications for consideration to the assignment. And whereas the city manager has recommended the promotion of these employees. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following employees in the police department are hereby promoted to Master Police Officer effective January 10th, payroll 2023. Employees will be paid based on their fiscal year 22 through 23 approved scale. Pay grade 4. Alan Douglas Gay, start date 11/13/2017. Daniel Goff, start date 11/13/2017. This order shall be effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We've heard the reading of Order 23-04. May we have a motion, please, for approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. As we move to the next item on the agenda, the official pinning of these officers, I'm going to ask Chief Rodney Richardson, please, to come and to lead us in this exercise, which will include, I believe, an officer who was not able to be with us at another time. Chief?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate that, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. This is a pretty big step for us when it's symbolic, but it also means a lot because these officers are taking the first step in the leadership process at the department. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't had leadership roles. You know, I think there's a lot of people out there that are leaders without titles, but these men and women that I'll call forward tonight are, I'm proud of them all. They do a great job for us. They wear many hats, and we're lucky to have them. So, Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Goble, I know this is your first time that you've seen one of these, so really what we do is I'll ask family, introduce them, they'll come up and they'll have someone that pins their new rank on their collars. So with that being said, this is in no particular order, but Emily Faulkner was previously promoted, and we was unable to get her here for that date, so we've asked her to come tonight so she could be part of this ceremony. Emily, if you and Mike and Addison could come forward. Emily's been with us for about 6 years. She's currently assigned to our patrol division. She's going to be pinned by her husband, Mike, and her daughter, Addison. We got lucky. We kind of stole Emily from another agency, I guess. But every once in a while, we can do that. And she's been a big asset to the department, and we're super glad that she's part of our team. You guys come right up front. Just stand right up front there if you don't care. I'll put you in front of everybody. The next officer, and I'll do all these at once, but the next officer is Alan Doug Gay. We call him Doug. Doug, if you could come up with your dad, Doug, and Brooklyn, your wife. Doug's been with us for about 5.5 years. He's part of our honor guard, and he's also assigned to our patrol division. You all go around up front. His wife is going to be pinning, Brooklyn. She works for the EKU Police Department, and his dad, Doug, will also participate in that. Doug does a lot when it comes to ceremonies, funerals, or anything else that we need the honor guard for. And you really don't know how important that is unless you need that unit. And they represent the city and they represent this police department in an outstanding way. So we're super proud of the work that he does and the team that he works with. The next person up, which is the third and final person, is Detective Daniel Toth. Toth, if you could come up with your mother-in-law, Melanie, and your daughter, Violet. Detective Toth has been with us also for about 5.5 years. Him and Doug started at the same time, but he's just recently been assigned to criminal investigations as an investigator. He's a detective. He's also part of our emergency response team, but he's kind of one of those leader without a title. He's actually the emergency response team leader. So I deal with him if we have an emergency situation. When information comes into the command post and it falls through the chain, Toth is going to be one that sends that up to us. So we take what he says very seriously. And we're super proud of him and what he's taken this team to, and he's got a good group of people that he works with. He's also a firearms instructor, and he is our past 2020 Officer of the Year. So his daughter Violet is here, I know I said that earlier, and his mother-in-law Melanie Yeager will be doing the pinning. So with that being said, those that are going to pin, you can go ahead and do so now. If everybody that wants to take pictures, please come forward. I don't want you to be bashful about that. Come up, just fight your way in. But you all go ahead and place those new ranks on your collars.
Chief, while we're witnessing this pinning, I wanted to make this comment about Doug. You said the department calls him Doug. I think tonight it only matters, his grandmother is here. I got to meet her a few minutes ago.
Yes, sir.
And I think all that matters is what grandmother says.
That'd be correct. That'd be correct. And thank you for being here, man. All right, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Master Police Officers. Thank you all very much, and keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
That Master Patrol program, we're very, very pleased with it. It's provided an opportunity for many of our officers who may not seek certain other offices to move into leadership roles, roles requiring more leadership and so on, and also pays a little more. So we're happy, Chief. Thank you.
Well, you know, Mayor, with that being said, I appreciate, this goes to show the people that are in this room how much not only people that live in this community support us, but our elected officials, our city manager, and everybody that works the city, because it takes one big, huge team to get this job done, and we're looking at a good team right here. So with that, thank you all for doing the work that you do, because without that, this wouldn't be possible. So thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks to all the family members and friends who came tonight to see your loved one be promoted. That's grandmother. Ordinance 23-01, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the boundaries of the downtown Mill District. This is the first reading of this ordinance. There will be no vote. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city has recently created the Downtown Mill District by passage of Ordinance 20-03, and whereas the Board of Commissioners and the City Manager believe it to be in the best interest that the City of Richmond amend the boundaries of the Mill District to match the newly created boundaries of the Entertainment Destination Center, EDC, so as to give clarity to the citizens and the downtown businesses. And whereas the Board of Commissioners envisions possible future endeavors in this district, including use of the tax incentive financing area for future development, and with the designation of Entertainment Destination Center within the meaning of Chapter 148 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and the board wishes to establish the Mill District within the downtown area for these and potential other and future uses. Now, therefore, be it ordained that there is hereby created, for the potential purpose and uses above described, the area within the downtown Richmond designation as the Mill District, the geographical boundaries to which are hereby amended to be as depicted in the map attached to this ordinance and here incorporated as set forth in full. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 23-01. May we have a motion, please, that we'll bring to the floor for the purpose of discussion?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Tag it.
Commissioner Brewer. Mr. City Manager, would you like to
Sure.
get us started with this discussion?
We
Thank you.
initially established the Mill District when we started the Millstone Park and went down the road of the Millstone Festival. And those boundaries are much larger than what our entertainment district boundaries are. So to eliminate confusion, what we decided to do is to bring in those Mill District boundaries to be the same as our entertainment district boundaries. The entertainment district we applied for last spring, I believe it was, and it has been approved by the ABC in Frankfurt. We still have to incorporate signage at the entrances and exits of the EDC district. And once we do that, along with, we have to have designated cups for the retailers that want to serve alcohol beverages for a special event and they walk out of their business. They have to have that cup that has the logo on it, along with guidelines, which will probably be a QR code on the cup that gives them the guidelines for the district. An example would be during our Millstone Festival, when we have a brewery and a winery there, they're allowed to sell alcohol. Another might be when EKU had the Family Dog event, Homecoming Weekend. Both of those events fall within that entertainment district and allow for businesses, such as Madison Garden, Paddy Wagon, to be able to sell alcohol and then walk out of the building for it. So really making these two districts the same boundaries really just is to eliminate confusion and make it more unity.
Thank you, sir. Is there any further discussion? We do not vote, but is there any discussion? All right, thank you. Ordinance 23-02, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the funds collected from the water meter surcharges to be allocated for storm water projects. This, again, is the first reading. And Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond wishes to receive a return on its investment in the utility system as stated in ordinance number 92-20 and 10-02, and whereas the establishment of the water meter surcharge for every customer of the water system is deemed to be in the best interest of the citizens of Richmond, Kentucky, and whereas the city wishes to reallocate the funds from the general fund to now fund stormwater projects, now therefore be ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky that, Section 1, a water meter surcharge in the amount of $2.10 shall be charged to customers for every water meter serviced by the Richmond Utilities Board. The surcharge shall not be deemed to be a sell. The surcharge shall not be deemed to be a sell or shall not be subject to school, sales businesses, or other taxes applicable to the sale of water. The Richmond Utility Board shall receive an account for all water meter surcharges collected hereunder as provided by law for public funds, and shall on a monthly basis transfer all funds so collected to the Stormwater Project Fund of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, for the purposes of providing the city a return on investment in the utility system. Section 2, the surcharge established herein shall be applied to all bills on or after 1 month from the passage. Section 3, this ordinance shall be effective February 1st, 2023, and upon its second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 23-02. May we have a motion, please, as this is, again, a first reading to bring to the floor for the purpose of discussion.
So moved.
Second. Commissioner Goble, Commissioner Brewer.
If I may.
Anything? Yes, sir, please.
I want to emphasize that this is not a new tax or fee on water meters. It's an existing $2.10 fee that has always been there, and Richmond Utilities charges that per meter and then passes it to the City of Richmond, and it normally goes into our general fund. What you'll come to find out is we have a lot of stormwater projects throughout the city with our antiquated system. And so in order for us to dedicate funds towards those stormwater projects and also cleaning up some of these retention and detention ponds that were initially, HOAs were to be established to maintain those, This fund will go towards those stormwater projects and maintaining those facilities. So it's actually going to go right into a line item. Instead of the general fund, it'll go into a stormwater fund that we
It's
can
just
use
being
those funds
repurposed.
for that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's
Is
long
that through
overdue.
the water and gas, they keep that money, not go into our city budget, right?
It does come into our city budget. Right now, it comes into our city budget into the general fund, but we're going to move
It's
it to
earmarked
that.
for that money, $2.10, right?
It is now, with you all's approval. That's right.
Any further discussion? All right, this is our first reading again, and tonight we will not vote. Mr. City Manager, just a quick question too. What will be, if any, and just listening to the most recent unofficial budget report, what will be the impact on our budget, if any?
The general fund, it varies, the collection varies because of collections from Richmond Utilities. So it could vary if payments are late, if they reduce customers or increase customers. Anywhere from $296,000 to $322,000 each year is what's collected. So that varies, and really that money goes into our general fund anyway. We're just moving it to the stormwater fund to be used for. To give you an example, we have a stormwater project on Allen Drive that'll go out to bid probably in the next 30 to 60 days. And the engineering estimates are it'll be between $400,000 and $425,000 to do. So what happens is we don't plan for that stuff in our budget. We have a contingency fund, and it never fails. We have something pop up, and so we'll have these funds available now to pull from instead of pulling from our contingency. That's kind of the plan.
Thank you. Thank you. Further discussion? There being none. Ordinance 23-03, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky declaring the city's intent to annex a tract of property into city limits and referring the annexation to the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission for a zoning recommendation. Again, this is a first reading. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas UMA Investments LLC, the owner of the property described below, has consented to the voluntary annexation into city limits of the said tract, herein the property. And whereas the property is contiguous to the city's boundaries and is urban in character, and whereas no part of the property proposed to be annexed is included within the boundaries of another incorporated city, and whereas the City of Richmond is capable of providing city services to the property, and whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky finds it to be in the public interest that the property be annexed into the city limits, now, therefore, be it ordained as follows. Section 1. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 81A of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, the City of Richmond, Kentucky does hereby express its intention to annex into the city limits those certain tracts of property more particularly described as follows. Totaling 96.66 acres, Deed Book 824, page number 185. This matter is to be referred to the City of Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission for that body's recommendation as to the appropriate zoning classification. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its adoption, following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 23-03. This is again a first reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Any things we want to add at this point? Mr.
What's
Attorney?
the projected use of it? I mean,
The current application is for R1A development, residential, single-family home development
Its location is
on Goggins Lane.
Coggins, and which would be, which end? Or let me go the middle.
Well, let's say the middle.
Yeah.
The applicant's attorney is here if you do wish to ask the applicant any questions.
Be glad to come forward if there are questions.
It's somewhat across the road from the park. The
That's
proposed
correct.
new park is on the other side of Goggins. Is that right?
Between Rose Hill Development and Heatherfield Development.
Thank
This
you.
is the former Park Farm, own Ornis and
Ornis,
Cambridge
yes.
for many years.
Yes. Any further discussion? There being none, we will vote in the next regularly called meeting. According to our form of government, being mayor, commission, manager, it is appropriate that we will have designated, with all of those unforeseen things that can happen, our form of government provides for the selection of a mayor pro tem, temporary mayor, so to speak. And it is appropriate that the commission would make that selection. So at this time, is there a motion? And Madam Clerk, are we receiving nominations? All right, are there those persons who wish to make nominations then at this time for
Quick
the mayor
question
pro tem?
first.
Yes, sir.
Just curious, normally we do this at the work session, we have in the past, right? Which, no, I'm great, I think this should be done, I think a lot more stuff should be done where everybody can see. I was just wondering, is there any reason that we're doing it?
My recollection.
No, I'm
is
just
we do it
curious.
in- We do it in this
Yeah,
session,
I
yeah.
was stuck out
I
here.
think one of the concerns is, I know from the administration side of it, if there is a change in the mayor pro tem, we have to get started on changing names on bank accounts and
Gotcha. So
everything
it's just
involved, so it's.
Speeding it up,
Yeah,
getting it out of the way.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just curious, yeah, all right.
Well, if you're asking for a motion, I move that we select the highest vote getter, which was Mindy Goebel, be mayor pro tem.
Madam Clerk,
Was that
in
what you
taking
asked?
nominations this time, may we receive a motion?
Yes.
All right. There's a motion by Commissioner Brewer that the name Mindy Goebel, who is the highest vote getter in the commission race, most recent, would serve as mayor pro tem. Is there a second to that motion?
Most definitely.
Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Navy,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you very much.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
I know this is and normally when we do the mayor pro tem at the work session, we also vote on a time for certain meetings, like our work session. Now, are we still going to continue to do that, or is that going to be done out here also?
Madam Clerk, please.
That would be a discussion for the workshop.
Okay.
The workshop,
Okay, which is next
which
Tuesday
is
at
next
9:30.
Tuesday, so we can set
So
the
if we have any
platform.
adjustments whatsoever for the new time in the work session,
Yes, and that is actually set by an ordinance, so that would be 2 readings.
Two
Okay.
readings, right.
So
And-
it could be effective if we
Okay.
wanted to change times.
is it appropriate for me to make a statement to the audience about that, how I feel about that right now?
Since that particular is not on the agenda, if you would, please reserve that to the time.
Okay, that was my whole purpose, so public can hear. That was my question.
Yeah, the
I'll
time
make it
that
then,
we'll call
sure,
upon you.
sure,
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Order 23-01, an order of the City of Richmond appointing a mayor pro tem. Now that we have had the nomination,
Yes.
we will now officially vote by order.
A mayor pro tem is appointed after each commission election. Now therefore be it ordered by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners that the following be appointed as mayor pro tem for the City of Richmond 2023 through 2024 term. Mayor pro tem Mindy Goebel. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 23-01 now, to insert the name Mindy Goebel. May we have a motion, please, to adopt order 23-01?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
I'll second.
Commissioner Cole. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel,
Yes.
Mayor Blige.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-02, order of the Board of Commissioners approving a task order for the Armory Park project, authorizing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the city. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the City Commission has started construction of the 321 North Second Street Armory Park project, and there is a task order needed in order to move forward. And whereas Bell Engineering has submitted task order number 3 for consideration and authorizing the mayor or city manager to sign agreement on behalf of the city. Whereas the City Commission has reviewed the agreement and made a recommendation to move forward with design development, now therefore be ordered that the Armory Park property enter into task order number 3 between the City of Richmond and DeVere Construction for a retaining wall and grade at property line in the amount of $46,754.40. Attached hereto and set forth in full, B, and the same hereby is, approved in accordance with terms thereof. Tyler, we got to work on that. The mayor or city manager is authorized to execute the same on behalf of the city. The order shall be effective immediately upon reading and adoption by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 23-02. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Any discussion?
Little explanation for this task order change. You all are familiar with the Armory Park project and the property line that runs what I call the back of the property where the houses are. When we removed that fencing, we ran into a buried retaining wall that we didn't know was there. In order for us to have the water flow off the property correctly, we've got to remove that retaining wall, re-slope the property. We've got to remove 3 trees. And just so everybody knows, we're replacing 8 trees. So we're adding green trees to the property. But it is necessary for the stormwater runoff on the back part of the property. It was something we didn't expect, turned up when they started the grading, and now we have to fix it.
I was going to ask, just that, and this is something that was not anticipated, was not even known at the time, just that we not have a series of change orders.
That is correct, and I'll be straight up with you. We've got another one that just came in for, I think, $6,500, and then we've asked them to look at putting a fence around the park, a nice fence. We didn't initially plan for that because we wanted the park to be open to the public, but what we ran into is the playground has to be fenced in. The skate plaza by state law has to be fenced in and locked up at night. So we're looking at the option of fencing in the perimeter, leaving the memorial in the front open to that corner of Moberly and North Second. But then we could remove the fencing around the skate plaza and the playground. And we also anticipate parking problems from neighbors parking in those parking spots and then trying to go over to their apartments. And we don't want vandalism and then other stuff going on there. So we'll be coming back with that information as well.
Motion still on its passage, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 23-03, an order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for the operation of kayak and canoe rentals at Lake Reba Board Dock property. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the city wishes to continue the enhancement at Lake Reba Park property with providing citizens the opportunity to rent kayak and canoes on a portion of the property, and whereas the bid specs were advertised and one bid was submitted, and whereas the bid has been reviewed and a recommendation has been to accept. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the operation bid for the kayak canoe rental for Lake Reba Boat Dock property is awarded to Get Outside KY of Berea, Kentucky, to begin spring of 2023. The bid is attached to the order, and this order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 23-03. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for approval?
So moved. Oh, sorry.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-05, order of the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending Section 8, holidays of the city's personnel policies and procedures manual. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has heretofore adopted a paid holiday policy as codified in Section 8 of the city's Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, and whereas the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond does find that a policy should be modified in full below. Now therefore be it ordered by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners that Section 8 of the city's Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual shall be and hereby is amended as followed. Section 8, paid and unpaid leave holidays. All full-time city employees, with the exception of some members of the police and fire departments as stated below, shall receive paid leave for the following holidays: New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Good Friday, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. One emergency per year, which may be taken in an instance of unexpected event that impedes the employee from reporting to work. Section 2, the police and fire departments will adhere to the following: the police chief, assistant chiefs, major, secretary, records personnel, evidence personnel, public affairs personnel, fire chief, assistant chiefs, training officer, fire prevention personnel, and all office personnel of the police and fire department shall observe all the above holidays as listed. All members of the police department and all ununiformed members of the fire department assigned the 24-hour shift shall receive equal hours of the city paid holidays in holiday leave time per calendar in addition to their annual leave. These are floating holidays and must be approved in advance by the police officer or firefighter supervisor. A status change form must be completed in advance for the request for holiday time. This holiday shall be credited to such employees annually on January 1 of each year and shall be taken in increments of not less than 1 hour. Any such holiday leave not used by December 31st of the year, and any such holiday leave unused at that time of the employee's separation from the cities for any reason shall lapse. In the event that any holidays fall on a Saturday, the holiday will be observed on the preceding Friday. If any of the holidays fall on a Sunday, the holiday should be observed on the following Monday. In addition to, above any day may be designated as a holiday by the Board of Commissioners. Any employee who is required to work on the actual holiday will be paid for all hours worked in addition to their 8-hour holidays of paid leave. This order shall become effective immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's the reading of Order 23-05. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Any discussion? And Mr. City Manager, is there any, what's the change, if there is any here, please?
Mayor and Commissioners, what we did here for clarification, first of all, we did add a holiday, which is President's Day. And we did that because currently the county and the state recognizes that holiday, and there's always confusion about who's open and who's not. So we're mirroring exactly what the county and the state does. We also wanted clarity with public safety and how they get to utilize their holidays because of their shifts. So we did add the President's Day, and then we cleaned up the public safety language a little bit is what we've done.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-06, an order of the City of Richmond authorizing the purchase of a truck for the Public Works Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Public Works Department is in need of an additional truck and the Board of Commissioners does believe it to be more pertinent an expenditure of the city revenue to purchase a new truck. And whereas the city manager has located a utility truck adequate to the city's needs and has recommended the purchase of this vehicle, and the Board of Commissioners does wish to authorize the purchase. Now therefore be it ordered that the city shall purchase from Bachman Chevrolet of Louisville, Kentucky, the following truck: a 2023 Chevrolet 3,500 cab, four-wheel drive, whatever that stuff is, I'm so sorry. Price is $90,000. The purchase shall be paid in full with the current budget of the fiscal year '23 out of the contingent account, and the mayor is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the city such documents as required to complete the said transaction. This order shall be in full force and effect upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So something's chasing that cab, right? Is that what-
Yeah, it's, I had to look up, it's something to do with the buildup.
Truck.
I'm so sorry.
We've heard the reading of Order 23-06. May we have a motion, please, bring forth for approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby?
Second.
Commissioner Brewer? Is there any discussion?
Mayor, just some
Anything you wanna ask,
clarity.
please?
The reason we're purchasing this truck out of contingency and it wasn't budgeted for is because we plan on starting a full-time sidewalk crew in the spring. And this vehicle is on state contract, and if we don't order it now, we can't get this same truck until July of '24 because of the supply chain issues. So I want to clarify too, it's not $90,000, that's okay. On state contract, it's just a little under $40,000, and then the bed that goes on the truck is another $16,000. Now, we may have to wait on the bed of the truck, so you're looking at closer to $56,000, $57,000, so.
All right, any further discussion? Thank you, sir, for clarifying that. There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-07, order of the City of Richmond appointing a new member to the Richmond Housing Authority Board. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas there is a vacancy on the Richmond Housing Authority Board due to a member resigning, and whereas a citizen is interested in serving on the board and has made a commitment to attend all meetings, now therefore be it ordered by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners that Virgil Gardner be appointed to the Richmond Housing Authority Board and will serve a 4-year term effective January 10th, 2023 and expiring 2027. This order shall become effective immediately upon passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 23-07. May we have a motion, please, to bring for approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble?
Take it.
Commissioner Brewer? Is there any discussion? He is here. There being no discussion, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-08, an order of the City of Richmond adopting a job description for the Codes Planning, Safety, and Risk Management Department. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has adopted job description for city employees, and whereas after review, it has been determined this position needs a job description adopted for better city services, now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners, the following job description and pay grade for the City of Richmond is hereby adopted. Codes, Planning, Safety, and Risk Management Department, Electrical Inspector, pay grade 6. The attached job description shall be made a part of the city's job descriptions and incorporated into their departmental structure. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 23-08. May we have a motion, please, to bring for approval?
So move.
Commissioner Brewer?
Second.
Commissioner Newby? Is there any discussion, anything you want to add, Mr. City Manager?
I would just say currently we contract this out for electrical inspections, and we're getting to the point where we need to have one full-time. So the job description doesn't require the individual to have the licensing, but they have 180 days to become certified. So it'll be a great addition to this group.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-09, an order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, authorizing funding for the Enrich project. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city is in need of drug rehabilitation and transitional housing and workforce reintegration services, and whereas the Enrich project has approached the city with a project for exactly that purpose, and whereas the Enrich project is in need of the city's help in providing a 50% funding match for the project to purchase a property in the downtown area, and whereas the city has money allocated in its current budget to fund this 50% match and wishes to do so and enter into a first look option agreement with Enrich to protect the taxpayer's investment. Now, therefore, be it ordered, the mayor is authorized to sign and the city is authorized to spend $100,000 towards purchase agreement of real estate for Enrich project secured by a first look option right to purchase.
Thank you, sir. That's order 23-09. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Mr. City Manager, do you want to say anything about this Enrich effort?
Is Dan here tonight, Dan Kirsten?
Kirsten?
I don't think he is. The Enrich program facilitates folks that are getting out of drug addiction and allows them to go into a workplace to make money and also provide some transitional housing. So it's another piece of the puzzle in our community that we don't have. I think it was the mayor that came up with the idea when they approached us about the funding that, we do a matching fund for them to purchase a building. It's on South Second Street. It's the old Cherry building, a Cherry Pit or whatever it was. So they did meet their fundraising goal by the end of the year of $100,000. So we're matching that with $100,000 so they can purchase the building. My understanding is they'll try to close by the end of the month, and then they'll start another fundraising to do the roof. I think is a major concern with it. It could be almost $100,000 to fix the roof on it. So if you haven't met Dan and his wife, you really should. They're wonderful people, passionate about what they do, and we're excited to be part of this project.
Happy to hear they were able to reach that.
Yeah.
That was a challenge we presented, that if they could come up with the first $100,000, then out of funds already designated to be used in such a manner.
And this does come out of our ARPA money. It doesn't come from our general fund, so it's federal money that's to be used for stuff like this.
What a time for such. Any further discussion? Order 23-09. There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 23-10, an order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, authorizing option to purchase contract. Madam Clerk, please.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Last week, we thought we'd come to terms with this agreement, and something came up yesterday late with the property owners that we still need to work through. So if it pleases the board, we would ask that you table this until we get that worked out in the option.
Thank you, sir. If there's no objection, may we have a motion, please, that we will table order 23-10.
I move.
Indefinitely? Indefinitely. All right. Commissioner Newby,
Yes. I'm sorry. I'll second.
Commissioner Brewer. Madam Clerk, please. This is a
Commissioner
motion to
Newby.
table.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. If you just post us or post the clerk when we get to a place where we're ready to move forward, please, sir. Order 23-11, an order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, authorizing the city's purchase of goods and services without necessity of competitive bidding. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the city is the owner and has leased to the Administrative Office of Courts, the AOC, the facility known as Madison Hall of Justice, a facility which houses the Madison District Court and the administrative offices associated with that court. And whereas the city manager has learned that the clerk's office on the first floor and file room in the basement area has been seriously damaged as a result to the freezing weather on Sunday, December 25th, 2022, which prevailed. And the making repairs to the facility will involve all new furniture, flooring, walls specifically ordered, and will require services and repair work, all of which, when the work is ultimately underway, will require substantial mobilization, preparation, and ordering time before the repairs can be completed. And whereas the use of the facility and the high traffic associated with the use and such of that facility cannot function since the incident, and it cannot be predicted with any certainty when the insurance claims will be reimbursed to the city. And whereas the city manager has certified the existence of an emergency as to the necessity of immediately begin affecting repairs, a copy of which is attached to the order and has been filed, a copy of the certificate of the city's Director of Finance as to required as the provision of the Kentucky Revised Statute, Section 424.260, Section 4. And whereas the Board of Commissioners likewise believes that the emergency exists within the meaning of the KRS 424 and Section 2, subsection 7 of the city's procurement code. And whereas the companies such as ServPro, Total Comfort, and Centos has had frequent occasion in the past to perform restorations to the facility and is familiar with it. And the city manager has procured several companies in making these necessary water damage restoration repairs quickly enough to eliminate further damage to the property. And whereas the AOC has assisted with these services, have yet determined reimbursement or insurance claims by the city. Now therefore be it ordered that the emergency necessary repairs to the AOC facility shall be completed without necessary of advertising for, evaluating, considering, and awarding any contract for services through the competitive bidding process applicable to the Kentucky State and the city's procurement code. The city manager shall be and hereby is authorized immediately to make necessary repairs binding to the city's financial obligation.
Thank you. Order 23-11, may we have a motion, please, bring to the floor?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer?
Second.
Commissioner Newby? Do you want to give any update, Mr. City Manager?
I will. I think you all are aware that Christmas Day, we had a fire suppression pipe break on the main floor of our District Hall building. I want to thank the fire department for reacting so quick. Within 30 minutes, we had the water turned off. There's still substantial damage on the first floor in the basement. I don't think our Honorable Earl Ray Neal realized he was going to get to spend the holidays with Tim Gross and I, but he did. They've been very patient with us, and Tim has done a phenomenal job. We were able to get in touch with ServPro immediately and start the water extraction. And really, we think we'll be okay as far as claims are concerned, but we do consider this an emergency. Our small purchase authority is less than $30,000, but if something did go over $30,000, I just wanted to make sure you all approved it and it's okay. We have a $10,000 deductible on that building, so we'll obviously pay that, but we're not sure if the invoices we receive from the different contractors will come to us first to pay and then us be reimbursed, or if they'll go to the insurance company first and be paid. So I'm just looking for some cover here to make sure we don't get caught in the crosshairs of doing something wrong with procurement.
And everybody's been placed somewhere, the people that were displaced?
Yeah, we were very lucky. David Fernandez was able to secure some off days in the family court building, and then also some court time in the big white circuit courts because they've moved over to the Chase building. and the white courthouse renovation has been delayed, so we've been able to utilize that. We had full intention of trying to get the courts back up and running this coming Monday in District Hall, but it may not work because of an elevator issue, so we'll see how that goes. But I think we've been very efficient in getting things fixed. We've got to replace flooring, we've got to replace furniture, we've got to replace their filing system. They actually loaded up all the files in the building. Contractor did, and they take them and they put them through a process that keeps them from being contaminated, and then bring them back and put them exactly like they were. So we've had to knock out walls where there's water damage and there's mold. So for this happening December 25th and us being this far along and getting it done is a real tribute to Tim Gross, who is our maintenance superintendent. And like I said, we got a call about 11:30 on Christmas Day. We all showed up and decided what to do and moved forward. And this just covers us legally with procurement.
And as you mentioned, Chief District Judge Earl Ray Neal was here in the chambers on Thursday, the 29th, for the swearing-in ceremony. And at that time, he asked for privilege to compliment the city of Richmond on its support of getting the justice aspect up and running as quickly as possible to accommodate in whatever ways we could, since the city owns that building. So thanks to you and all the team again.
Yep.
Fire Department, Sam, thank you. And then your folks over in the fire department, that's the first thing he said was how the fire department responded so quickly. And we appreciate that. Let's see, Madam Clerk, where are we? Yeah, we're on discussion. No further discussion? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes. Commissioner
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 23-12, order of the City of Richmond authorizing the release of funds to Madison Home. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has committed fiscal year '23 funding to Madison Homes in order to operate the necessary community services to the unhoused population, and whereas they are ready to draw some funds required for the facility to operate, and whereas invoices have been submitted for the first draw down payment, now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the City of Richmond shall authorize a release of funds, drawdown number 1, to Madison Home for the Homeless Shelter Project Fund in the amount of $50,000. These ARPA expenditures were adopted by Ordinance 22-45 and will be utilized to replace and install a new HVAC system in the facility. 2 bids were obtained and will be awarded by Madison Home as they see fit. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's order 22-12. May we have a motion, please, to bring the floor for approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion, anything we want to add at this time?
I just would say it's just another example how you all as leaders are putting the pieces of the puzzle together to help our addiction and homeless problem, and that's all we can do. We'll have the services in place for people that want to get help, and this is just another step. So there's still a couple more pieces of the puzzle to put together, but any community our size, and I credit you all for allowing us to do this. Again, it's paid for out of the ARPA funds, but again, when we have all the pieces of the puzzles in place, the help will be there for people that want it. And that's all we can do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Order 22-12. All right, there being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. This is our public comments period. If there are persons who've come for the purpose of appearing before the commission to bring an issue, please remember, and it's on the agenda, that if you need more than 5 minutes, it's always necessary to get that approved through the clerk to get onto the agenda for that purpose. Otherwise, 5 minutes or less. Come on to the podium. Thank you. Howdy.
Thank you, guys. Welcome, new commissioners. I'm Debbie Bessio, 204 Crimson Drive. I know we only have 5 minutes, but my husband back there yielded his 5, and then my dad has yielded, Jim Masterson has yielded his 5 as well. Let me turn this. Here you go. Basically, I'm here to talk about the effects of urban sprawl on the impact of traffic and safety of the citizens on the West End. So to bring up the new commissioners to speed, basically Kentucky Transportation, they release average daily traffic. They have their particular thing. So anyway, it's like the speed bumps you go over that count. So just to let you know, to get to the West End, there's 2 primary routes. There's exit 90 to Keeneland Drive to Tate's Creek, and then the other is exit 87, Barnes Mill, Goggins Lane. So those are the areas. So if you look at Keeneland Drive, there's on average 6,184 vehicles that drive that road daily. Tate's Creek, 5,678 vehicles that drive that road daily. Basically, if you look at that, Keeneland is basically, townhomes are built up next to it, and children play next to the road. Okay, let's take us to Route 2. From Barnes Mill to Goggins Lane, average daily traffic is 11,791 cars. Goggins is 6,757. So that's what it is. Basically, you can take into, this does not take into consideration the Ramsey property that you all approved for the 1,100 dwellings, plus the 60 acres of commercial. And then on Hampton Way, 53 acres has been approved for townhomes and for single family. So Hampton Way is where the Hampton Inn is. So that's that particular road. Also, you have Madison Middle School. The old school has 12 buses that come in the morning, 12 buses that go out. So the children will be on buses using both of those routes. And then you also have the new park area. So you'll have families using both those routes coming in and out. So anyway, I'm skipping a page ahead for you. If you look basically in your comprehensive plan on page 12, you have 2 goals, goals 5 and goal 6. Both of those reference the words encourage future growth where current and adequate infrastructure and amenities exist in order to limit the negative effects of urban sprawl. So with that, I just want you to keep in the back of your mind, current and adequate. Okay? So anyway, on December 21st, we had a planning and zoning public hearing. This place was full. We had chairs against the wall. We had citizens here with petitions. And so anyway, I just want to go through what we discussed. Now, there's 118 acres on Tate's Creek Road and Goggins Lane. So that's across from the park. They were asking to zone that for R1C, which is basically single-family homes with small lots, and for B3. Now that particular property will be using both of those routes. The people here were concerned about the infrastructure of not being able to handle it. Now in my opinion, they weren't here against the homes being built, but they were asking for less homes to be built on larger lots. So R1C is residential small lots. If you look at Covington Woods, it's R1A, so they have larger things. You know, the response from the Planning and Zoning Commission addressed the impact of traffic. It was that the commission said, we can't do anything about traffic. It's a state road. Well, yes, they can do something about it. they can stop approving development along Barnes Mill Road, Goggins Lane, and Tate's Creek. Anyway, with that, Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-1 to approve this zone change. So, anyway, a finding of fact came forward that there's a thing called Victory Boulevard, a non-existing road, which is basically identified on your comprehensive plan on the future road improvements. And it also, future, remember, I said current and adequate. Here we're talking about a future improvement that's supposed to help out limiting traffic. So anyway, Victory Boulevard, if you look at Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, they have a 6-year highway plan that goes from 2022 to 2028. There's zero funds being allocated to build that road. It's not even in the scope. Keep in mind that Kentucky has a limited amount of funds, and all the counties across Kentucky are vying for that same pot of money. It might not even be that we even get on the 6-year highway plan for 2029 or through 2034. You know, it's easy to take a map and draw a line from one road to the other, but if you have zero funding, then basically it's a line on a map. You know, Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission keep referencing the comprehensive plan, but they aren't following the goals of current and accurate. Next piece of property that was discussed is 291 Tate's Creek Road, which is next to Gray Oak. Some people refer to that as the old Stocker place. There was a request for zoning from R1A for 108 acres to R1A single homes, duplexes, townhomes, and apartments. This property is approximately 1.5 miles from where the planning and zoning approved the 118 acres to put the homes on, okay? So to get to this, the basic route it takes is Route 1. You're coming down Keeneland Drive. You got kids playing against the street. You also drive past Kit Carson School. And so there are 8 buses that enter in the morning, 7 buses that leave, plus there's additional 3 buses in the evening with children on it that actually they're taking to daycare facilities. Now, if you look at what they did, they basically provided a plat showing zones, but they did not come forward and bring any type of development plan or even a concept plan with the number of homes, townhomes, and apartments they wanted to build. If you look on your comprehensive future map, on page 19 of your comprehensive plan, it lists this party as R1A, which is already zoned, and it's not designated as a potential growth area. Citizens were asking about the number of homes, the number of townhomes, number of apartments. Even though the numbers weren't provided by the owner, Richmond Planning and Zoning and Richmond have a development guide that provides a way to calculate, give you an worst-case estimate. So they should have been able to figure out worst-case estimate for it. You know, the calculations there, I was able to figure it out. Basically, they had R1A with the 56 acres. They're looking at 182 homes for the gross acre. 15 acres, they're looking at, for townhomes, you're looking 76 townhomes, gross acreage. For 31 acres for apartments, you're looking at 441 apartments for 699 dwellings. Some owners couldn't provide the number, then this should not be used for planning. Basically, what I'm saying there, if you're not going to use what you have in your development plan, then why bother to even have that ordinance in there if nobody's going to use it? Now, basically, the city continues to talk about the need for affordable owner-occupied housing. In their comprehensive plan on page 76, you talk about the need of additional single development over the next several years. So why does Richmond need more townhomes and apartments? You know what the lawyer stated? He stated, there is an actual reality. These things cost a lot of money, and the multifamily home helps pay for that. You know, so they're speculating that you guys are going to change this so they can make money. Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 to approve this, even though the comprehensive future map did not designate the property as a potential growth area. And let me remind you that Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission keeps saying they can't do anything about the impact of the traffic on a state road. However, here they've just approved 118 acres for homes to be built, 108 acres for single homes, townhomes, and apartments, all within less than approximately 1.5 miles of each other, all on Tates Creek Road. So they're approving changes that are impacting the traffic. Next page here, I promise I'll get through here in a few minutes. There was a pre-application conference about a PUD, which is a planned unit development on Hampton Way. Now, Hampton Way, again, is that road where Hampton Inn is located. This is the same road that intersects with sorry about that, looking for my water, intersects with Barnes Mill. Now, an investment company from Utah has purchased the property knowing that it was zoned R1 and R2 for homes and for townhomes. And now they're asking to zone it for a PUD. What does that mean? It means they can put apartments there. So basically, on their little concept plan, they showed that they wanted to build an additional 120 apartments on top of the townhomes and the single-family dwellings. There was a discussion with the people presenting as to why do they need apartments. The lawyer said, it's a trade-off. You can't make it all on single-family housing. You need something else in there, which is higher density, allowing the investment to pay off. This investment company spent $1 million on this property, again, knowing that it was R1 and R2. And now they're speculating as to which the city will allow them to build apartments so they can make money. And actually at the expense of the citizens, the ones on the West End that have to drive there every day. So why should this burden be placed on the people of Richmond? So these investment companies and speculators can make money? The people of Richmond that grew up here, raised families, worked here, and have made Richmond what it is today. I just have to say that investment companies don't vote, the people do. You're not obligated to the investors or anyone that's speculating on the land. You work for the citizens and the people come first. And just as a side note, as you heard tonight, there's another investment company that's looking for their 98 acres so they can build on it to be annexed. And actually they own another farm that is right next to it. So it's just a matter of time. I want to give you the comments that were made by citizens attending the public hearing as they left. The public hearing was merely a formality that could be check mark and a rubber stamp of approval placed on the request. What a waste of time. This was a joke. Richmond is nothing more than a suburb of Lexington. The city's going to do what it wants to do. It's all about money and no longer about the people. Your Planning and Zoning Commission needs to think about what they're doing and how it's going to affect the people living there now. You know, I can't remember the last time on the West End that your Planning and Zoning Commission voted no. Now, I can't remember it, maybe somebody else does. They need to be doing advanced planning by taking into consideration not only the current traffic, but also the future traffic. That includes all the new approved developments. It includes except schools, is there enough space there? Is the city going to have to add more police officers there? And so, anyway, I want to put you back to the city goals. Encourage future growth where current and adequate infrastructure and amenities exist in order to limit negative effects on urban sprawl. So remember, each of you have been elected by the people, not by an investment company, not by speculators, and the people should come first. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. There are others who've come tonight for public comment. Anyone else?
I can't hear, brother.
Come on up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please state your name for the clerk, please.
I will do that, but first I'll say, I will take off my cap in respect to the community and to the council, but I have a hair problem. I don't have any, so I'll cover it up. All right, and I do have a bad hearing problem. So, my name is Jerry, Jerry, Leach.
Thank you, sir.
You got that? Just remember this, it's a name that'll stick to you. Can't get nobody to laugh. Yeah. I'm a retired school teacher, if I'm not right. Okay. To help me out in clarification, ordinance 23-07, that passed, is that correct?
We didn't vote on it.
No, it's
You
the
did not
first
vote on
reading.
it?
Yeah, we don't know, that'll come
It was
next,
the first
next
reading.
meeting.
Okay, I need to tell my friends and neighbors it has not passed.
That's correct.
No, not.
And I don't have a study like that young lady done that just left here. I mean, she must have been months and months putting a study together that deep. I don't have anything to say except I live on Goggins Lane. I see the traffic. I see the problem. I lived on Goggins Lane when it was a one-lane road. And Tate's Creek was a two-lane road. I could get to town quicker on that one-lane road and that two-lane road than I can even get out of my subdivision now. There is traffic constantly, all day long, lined up through there, and you almost have to take a chance and get out. And you say, well, it's not that bad. When they first started developing Tate's Creek and Goggins, we did have a death there, a fatality. Nobody remembers those things, but I do, because I come upon it. And a guy lost his life from a traffic accident. Now, those things are not in the report. But what I need to know is, what I need to tell you, I think I've already said, with that in-depth study that she has done, I'm telling you from a citizen, it's not a good place to live anymore. Everything out there is developing. And you can say, well, developing is good. Are you opposed to it? No. That's uncontrolled development. Uncontrolled development. Just from every time you look out there, there's another bulldozer or landscaping machine tearing up another farm, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can see. Everybody's opposed to it that lives out there. And they put notices in your mailbox about attending these meetings. Me and 2-3 other people are the only ones that show up. How many people here are from Goggins Lane? Oh, we do. Forgive me for saying that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you feel the same way about what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. We vote too, folks. Maybe not all of us in the city, but the city's just across the street that we have our influence, where you used to live, that city. Well, thank you for putting up with me. I'm sitting here trying to listen to Reverend Blythe, and he has this kind, nice voice. I can go by his church on Sunday morning and roll the windows up and still hear the sermon.
Let's have a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Leach. Thank you.
Michael, you next.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Mike Eves. I'm here to give you an update about what I think most of us agree is a dangerous intersection in the city. If you look on your projection, this is the bypass. Great House Drive is on the right. Duckhorn Drive is on the left. We bought about 70 acres of this land 5 or 6 years ago and have developed portions of it, and the balance is ready for development. About 18 months ago in this building, we met upstairs with representatives from the Transportation Cabinet. I think some of you were there, and the issue on that occasion was a traffic light. And there were a lot of folks that thought it was justified. We had paid an engineer to do the studies to determine that it met the state's requirements for the need for a light. If you recall, the state did not volunteer a light. They wanted something a little bit more extravagant, what they call a J-turn. Since then, with the support of the city manager and with the support of our state representative, Deanna Frazier, we have continued to meet. With the Transportation Cabinet, we have continued to pay engineers to submit traffic studies and development studies and plans. They have preliminarily agreed to provide a permit for the installation of a traffic light at that location. The proviso, the caveat, I guess you'll say, is that they don't want to pay for it. I think somebody called it one of those land companies or investment companies. I guess that's what we are. But whoever that is, my partners and I have agreed to pay half the cost of the engineering and for the installation of the light. And we're here to ask if the city will pay the other half. We desperately need to have a light installed, and I don't have a price. I'm here simply to report to you that at least preliminarily the state has indicated that they will allow a light.
The city would, in principle, then...
In principle, now don't misunderstand, we still have several stops to make at the Transportation Cabinet in hopes of talking them into paying for half. But I can't say that I hold out much hope for that. But we intend to make that effort. But basically, not asking for a commitment tonight, I'm just here giving you a report. I think they will issue a permit because of the width of the bypass at this area of traffic. They will require that the turn lanes be realigned. Part of the problem is the turn lanes are offset, and they need to be realigned so that they face each other. That's the problem. You can't see past, as you approach, you can't see past the turn lane in front of you because those cars are right in your line of vision. So that's part of the project that's going to be required, and then the installation of the lights. I'm simply here to report that we think that's going to come to pass. I guess you need to talk about it among yourselves and see what your appetite is for participating in that process. It's a very bad situation. There was an accident there Thursday, I think, and I've nearly been hit several times myself,
yes.
but so it is a bad place.
May I ask you then to do this, if you will keep us, first of all, informed how your additional conversations proceed, and I'll ask that the clerk, city manager, would hold that to go on a workshop session at one point, once we have the information in front of us, and we can consider, in principle, as I say, how we'd like to. I know that traffic is increasing even, and that coming across from the other named street over to Great House, for example, I know that it presents. So if you will keep us posted, we'll be able to have some intelligent discussion and decide if there's a way that we can participate.
And Mike, if you get some preliminary engineering estimates on it, please share those with me. And
We've asked for that and may have it by the end of the month. They have to approve the design first, and we think we'll have that done in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Anyone else here for public comment? Then if you'd please state your name for the clerk, for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Alan Reed.
Alan Reed.
Alanreed. Yes.
Thank you. I do have a little handout for everybody.
I was technologically challenged this evening. Thank goodness I have that.
That's two of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm here to say thanks. I don't even know who to say thanks to because there were so many phone calls made regarding the crossing, the railroad crossing at Main Street and US 25, which has just been a miss for a number of months, actually for years. It goes back years. So if the city directly had any input on it, I know it does not come from monies provided by the city, that's federal monies or CSX money that gets some federal money, but at least that project is on the way to patch it up. It doesn't provide a long-term solution, but it does certainly get us through the winter. And my car thanks you too, Lisa. I think I've called you about every 2 weeks for a number of months. But I've been in contact with our state representative who's reached out to Congressman Barr. I've called the District Highway Engineer's office. And then also the Division of Planning, which handles the work that the Railroad Commission used to do. There is no Railroad Commission, as you all well know. But what I'm calling for, and I would have had it in a PowerPoint presentation up there, but you've got it in your packets, is for us all to get together for downtown development, for the growth and our pride in our city, and let's get our railroad crossing out there fixed. It's so busy for a long-term basis.
Are you aware that starting tomorrow, they're actually going to begin the work on that?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I hope they do it right. And starting on about page 3 of your packet there, and I don't have it up because a lot of it's just really fine print, a lot of small pictures. But let's hope that CSX's plan, and you all probably have a lot better handle on it than I do. I just do know that and it is mostly very much appreciated that you're going to start work on it, or they are. But there are a series of systems that are used in cities across the United States. Some of them are based on steel plates, on the approach from both sides. There's also concrete, rubberized concrete. There's a whole host of different systems. And I've provided those to you from some research that I've done. But that's the real solution. A city like Richmond doesn't need to have a crossing that exercises your car's chassis every time you go across it, but it's a real problem. But I do appreciate all the effort that you all have done, Mayor, whoever has worked with CSX, but maybe we can all work together and let CSX know we expect better. We've got downtown development going on here, and our local pride and all of that hinges on them getting that crossing fixed long term. We appreciate the patch now because I don't know, I expected to see a transmission laying out there at the side of the tracks at some point, but that's going to be fixed up. But thanks again for your input in getting that done. I don't know what the best of those systems would be. I've seen a lot in steel, but there's some really neat new materials in there that you can look at, that you could theoretically drive across those tracks at 85 miles an hour. I'm not advocating that we cross tracks at 85 miles an hour, but certainly would take care of things long term.
Mr. Reed, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the
Well
council.
taken, and as I say, they begin tomorrow.
Thank you.
City manager, have the CSX folks, or even the transportation folks here, stated what they're going to do as they're shutting us down for 2 days?
Yeah, starting
And,
tomorrow morning, actually.
Tomorrow morning?
What is it, Tuesday? That's right, yeah. Thursday morning, I think it is, Thursday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I've been assured that it'll be fixed properly. And see, if you've ever dealt with the railroad, they're harder to deal with than a large federal government. We do have a direct contact that works for CSX now. Jody Lassiter used to be Danville Economic Development, so he's helped us with some of this. David Stipes reached out to him, and I made some calls as well, but we've been assured they'll fix it correctly, and if they don't, we'll hold them accountable for it.
They kind of do what they want to do, don't they? I mean,
Yeah,
in
pretty
essence,
much. They have the easements and the right-of-ways, and so, the solutions that we have, there's a easement or right-of-way through there that we can't really do anything about up to the edge of that, so I don't know where that falls exactly right there, but.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I think we got another.
Hope for the best, but we'll actually work to get the very best we can result. So, yes. Howdy.
My name is Paul Souders. I'm the president of Rose Hill Subdivision on Goggins Lane. I live on Virginia Drive. I've watched plenty of these meetings to know that you are more than aware of the traffic issues on Goggins, and I'm not going to waste your time with that because you hear it about every meeting. However, there are some things I want to bring up to ask you just to please remember as we talk about this that developers do not put into the plan. Do you realize that almost every house on Goggins Lane is in a floodplain, and every one of those houses in the plan, except 2, is planned to be underwater according to the updated FEMA flood plan? Now, this becomes real big for you because I delivered mail in Lexington for 20 years, and the city of Lexington had to purchase about 12 houses on Goodrich Avenue at one time because they were all being flooded out. So does the city really want to come and purchase these houses and other houses on Goggins Lane as a result of that, or potentially have to do that? We have a flooding problem. Anybody that drives up there is aware that we have a flooding problem at Brookline, at whatever that little creek is that runs underneath right there, and we have a flooding problem on Tate's Creek just past Goggins Lane. That's something we need to address, and they've tried to, but when we get heavy rains, we have water that pools in the roads there, and it creates hazards. And it's really an ongoing issue that there is. But there are 3 things I want to talk about very quickly that I want to kind of bring to you to get you to think about that developers don't tell you. That it's an interesting thing when we read these things and it said it behooves the city to bring this property into the city, or behooves the city. Well, in Rose Hills a few years ago, we had a house that caught on fire. And when the fire department came out, we did not have sufficient water pressure for them to be able to put the fire out, and the house was a total loss. So how does it behoove the city if we have not improved our infrastructure of our water to be able to fight the fires once that happens? You can add a lot more lines. You could add bigger main lines. You can meet all the fire codes of things that there are. But if you don't have the water pressure to do it, how are you going to be able to handle the emergencies that are coming into this way? We talk about how it behooves the city to bring these places in, and yet all of you are aware that when we had the cold temperatures, a lot of West Richmond on the other side of the interstate was without electricity. Well, I work at a major hotel part-time. I'm retired from the Postal Service after 34 years and just have something to do. I work a couple days a week. And the KU people who came in said the problem is our grid is maxed out and we cannot handle anymore. So how can we come with a motion and say it behooves the city to add more stuff onto the grid when we have our own version of Summit Farm about to be built with a major school and a major church? How does it behoove the city to add in another 350 houses on the former Park Farm when our grid cannot handle what we have now? And as these houses are being added on, and as people are coming and are adding in chargers for their electric vehicles and things, this is continuing to be a larger thing. And I never hear of any reports that are made either to you or reports that are made to planning and zoning that they said, we went and talked to Bluegrass RECC or Clark Energy, whatever its name is this week, or we talked to Kentucky Utilities to make sure that they can handle the electrical load and that the grid is able. We don't ever hear anybody say that. We also talk about the issue that there is of traffic, and we all know about the thing that there is. But the only thing I'll point out is think about going up and down Goggins Lane. Where in the world are we going to put stoplights to regulate that? As you come out of Rose Hills, you have to the right, heading towards Myers, you have 3 entrances. You have Covington Woods, and you have 2 for Brookline. Going to the left, you have Hickory Hills, and you have Cross Creek. As you go on towards Myers, we have a brand-new entrance coming in for our Summit Farm complex that's coming in that is not across from the entrance from Myers. So how in the world are we going to regulate any type of traffic? Where in the world is our plan to put any type of stoplights? And why are we putting these types of entrances or allowing them to happen when we can't sit down and say, wow, guys, one of these days we need to control some traffic. We might need to put up some stoplights. Let's just scatter them out every 100 feet so we can just make the traffic an absolute mess. How are we going to regulate that? My last question goes back to the motion. And this is relating to all of the development that is happening in that area. Because it's an interesting thing, we say it behooves the city, it's advantageous, it is something that's good for the city to bring this land in. Who determines that to make that into a motion? I place that really as a question. I mean, we bring ordinance after ordinance before the city, and we say, we as a city commission have determined that it is advantageous to the city to build another 350 houses, even though we continue to hear about traffic problems, even though we have water problems, even though we have electric problems. Who is it that's making the determination to bring to the city to say, it's the best interest of the city that we had another 350 houses in an area that can't do that? And I ask the question, who makes that determination? Somebody had to make that decision into that motion. So who makes that decision?
The public comments period, and please understand what I'm saying, is to allow you to express your concern.
Okay.
It really isn't for us to respond.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say this, Mr. Attorney. There are those boards, commissions, offices, departments who prepare the information for us in order to be able to make decisions. It isn't that we don't look at them ourselves, but that's their responsibility, and when they send it up to us, we'll review. That's not a cop-out, but
I understand.
At this time, I would not commit us, but we're happy to hear what you have to say.
And I understand that I need to take these same concerns to planning and zoning, which I do intend to do. But yes. I asked this question, and if I have time, I don't know, Lisa, if you have time for more quick statement after this, it's totally separate. But can the same individuals who make these city ordinances, says it behooves the city, can they come up with a city ordinance, and I'm going to take this to planning and zoning as well, to say, you know what, it really behooves the city that in the West Richmond corridor, from the interstate to Goggins Lane, from Lexington Road to Barnes Mill Road, that just as years ago the city commission said, we're going to stop building of all apartments for a number of years. Can we do the same thing to say, it really behooves the city to put a moratorium on any new developments until we really know what's going to happen with all the traffic of the new developments that there is? We know our land is going to be developed. We know that. You know, we can't fight that. But we simply ask for controlled, smart growth. And perhaps it would behoove the city to stop that and to go. So that's my comment on that.
We over the years, I'll just say this, have done that. One of the things, in fact, that we asked for 6 months, 9 months, maybe a year ago, was for planning and zoning to give us an update on what we look like with respect to that very thing. We'll get back on that and proceed as we can legally, but proceed.
The last point that I have, it will only take 1 minute, and is totally separate. I appreciate the work that Mr. Meinrich does as our city manager. I appreciate the work that you do as our mayor. And I appreciate the work that you as our city commission are going to do and that our former commissioners have done. However, we have 4 years before the next election. Is it possible?
2.
Or 2 years, okay. Is it possible that we can begin a study in the city to simply say, at some time, we're going to have to let Mr. Meinrich retire? I think we really ought to behoove the city that he can't retire for another 20 years, but, you know. But can we, can you as a city begin a study to ask the question, is our best form of government as our city continues to grow, to continue to be a city manager and a council run, or are we better to change, or a commission run, or are we better to change our government into a way that we're going to be more of a mayoral run? And I just challenge you all to possibly look at that as, I'm a planner, I'm an analyst, is what I am, and look at that and just say, hey, we may do this study and it says what we do is great. If that's it, then let's go with it. But if as the city grows, and if it is good for us in 2 years or 4 years, whatever time down the road to do that, then let's start beginning taking the steps that we need to be so we continue to be the great Richmond that we've always been. I've lived here for 59 years. I was born here, I'm going to die here. And, you know, that's all that there is with it. You got to put up with me all the time, Mayor, so that's all I can say. But again, I appreciate your work. I would just encourage you all, as a commission or as a city government, to at least do a study on that to see if that's possible.
Paul, are you familiar with the history of, what was it, early 70s maybe, when we changed to this form, the commission form, as opposed to the council? Have you looked at the history of why that was done? I mean, I'm not.
No, I have not. I have not.
Curious, but I'd like to see why at that time it was felt to be the direction. You and I'll do that.
It'd be an interesting study, and I know Kentucky League of Cities, you have resources like that can help you with that type of stuff. Just a suggestion from
Interesting to know, yes.
I can always say, you guys, you can tell them on the level because the bubble's in the middle. That's the only way I can put it. So, thank you all for your time, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Appreciate that. Anyone else from the audience? All right. Let's see. We'll clear as there is an executive session. Mr. City Manager, any departments to report tonight?
Just one, tourism would like to give a report on the upcoming All-A Classic.
Yes, sir, very important.
Miss Lori? Is she still here? Yeah, she's here.
Yes.
I'll make it super quick. Trick question. How many years has the All-A Classic been in Richmond?
Except for the time of play.
We won't talk about that.
Oh, come on.
Any guesses?
17?
26 years.
Wow.
This will be the 26th year of the Kentucky All-A Classic, and we are thrilled to have them back. That's going to be January 25th through the 29th. That is a Wednesday through a Sunday. Paul will be helping us out at Town Place Suites. All of our hotels will be full to the rim with brim. We'll also be using 4 of Berea's hotels. I say every year this is a wonderful town and gown operation in our whole county. The city of Berea helps us. It's a wonderful thing, and all of our departments, our police department, our fire department, parks, street department, and our city manager is great to let us have some of the other employees help out, because we provide the ushers during that day, and then some of our citizens also volunteer with us. I know Wayne is always a great volunteer for us. So we are very excited to have them. I hope to see all of you there. I will give you passes, and you'll get to experience some great Kentucky basketball, and it's 16 boys teams and 16 girls teams. So there'll be 32 teams here. Any questions? Okay, thank you. And I'm just going to give one other quick statement. We had a dog go missing at Buc-ee's yesterday, And there's a couple traveling from Michigan to Florida, and unfortunately their dog got loose. And I just want to thank our community. That dog has not been found, but I do think that these folks are going to leave our city knowing what a wonderful place we are. The posts have been shared over 2,000 times. Our police department has helped share the post. Our industrial development director walked with my husband last night all through the industrial park for 2 hours looking for him. And I am so pleased and happy with how our community has responded and to continue to look for this dog. WBON TV, it is a male boxer that is 6 months old, Madison County Live, but those folks are staying in our community another 3 days to try and look for the dog. But I say that Southern starts here, and people really feel that Southern hospitality, and those folks are completely touched at how the community has treated them. So kudos to the citizens of Richmond and Madison County.
Thank you. Lori. Yes. Mr. City Manager, or any other departments?
No, that's it.
Mr. City Manager, please.
I just have 2 items. The first item is the railroad crossing on East Main will be closed starting tomorrow at 7:30 until Friday afternoon for those repairs. So my day's kind of been running together here a little bit. But the other thing I want to say is I want to thank our road department, our police department, and our fire department for all their work prior to Christmas. We had that cold snap. We had wind chills down 30 negative below, and the fire chief sent me the calls they made, and it was a huge uptake, like 300% compared to the year before. Our police department was busy, our road department was out clearing roads, and I got to tell you, they show up, they suit up, and they get it done every day, and it's a great team to be part of. I'm very proud of them. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Brewer?
John, we replaced the salt yet?
Yes.
Okay. What we end up getting?
Around almost 400 tons.
That was a bad time. Did you go through most of the salt that we had on the?
About half of it, 3 bins.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Any matters you want to?
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right sheet of music here. I do just have 2 things that I wanted to share. First of all, this is my very first city commission meeting, so I have said many times I'm humbled and honored to serve the citizens here in Richmond, and on that regard, I just want to thank each person that came to speak to the commission tonight. And please know that we really do listen when you take the time to come and present your information to us. We take the time to read the materials that you all left with us. So I just, to me as a new commissioner, it just kind of feels a little bit like we just kind of sit here and listen to you. So I just want to make sure you know that even though it's not a two-way conversation at that point in time, that we really do listen. And I sincerely appreciate the people that take the time to advocate for their community and share ideas. You can tell that people in Richmond really love our community and care about the city government here, and it makes my heart feel good that I'm part of this organization with citizens that care. The second thing, just real fast, I really appreciate Lori coming to talk about the All-A Classic tonight. I just encourage each person that's watching online or that's here tonight, if you have never gone to the All-A Classic over at the Alumni Coliseum at EKU, I encourage you to do so. You just walk in and it's a feel-good event. Those 16 teams that are there are so excited, and these are, I think, the smaller teams, and they just are so proud to be there, and you can feel the excitement when you walk into the Coliseum there as the games are being played. So I just, ask all of our citizens here in Richmond, if you see visitors out and about while you're in town, and you will, because Richmond gets very, very busy during the All-A Classic. Like Lori said, our hotels are full, restaurants get really busy. But, I just encourage you to welcome our visitors into town. If you have an opportunity, you can tell they're here visiting, go up and introduce yourself and welcome them to our city of Richmond, and just encourage everyone to partake and enjoy that town and gown activity. It's one I enjoy every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Ditto. Commissioner Goebel?
I just want to say how humbled I am, and thank you guys for your vote of confidence for me as Mayor Pro Tem. And I'm excited about what the next 2 years hold, and I'm excited about being a part of this commission. And I thank all the people that came out and voted and that put their confidence in us, and we will do our best to make you proud.
Thank you. Commissioner Newby?
I just want to welcome Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Goebel. Ladies, you don't know how beyond ecstatic that I'm glad that you're here. I mean, already it's, I feel so, I mean, I've had so much responses from you already via conversations, emails, phone calls, questions, and input from you. I mean, I've gotten more input in the past 2 weeks than I have the past 2 years, so welcome. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Newby. Ditto. We do have on the agenda an executive session. May we have a motion, please, that we will go into executive session
I move.
according to KRS 61.810, subsection 1, subsub C, regarding pending litigation, per KRS 61.810, subsection 1, subsub F, regarding personnel, and KRS 61.810, subsection 1, subsub B, regarding acquisition or sale of property. We have the motion from Commissioner Newby,
I second.
second by Commissioner Cole. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goebel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
I'm ecstatic to say yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Always here, the choice is yours, the option is yours. If you choose to stay, we don't know how long it'll be, but hopefully not but a few minutes.
Yeah.
We just got a couple more minutes, just a couple minutes. Thank you, Jim.
cooking me I'm starving.
Return. May we have a motion, please, that we go out of executive session
I move.
and to regular session, no action having been taken. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Newby, motion. Commissioner Cole, second. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. There'll be times, Commissioners Goebel and Cole, that I will not ask for the clerk to do that if it's a matter that we know pretty much how, well, I'll just ask all in favor, please, yeah. Now, let's see. No action having been taken. Madam Clerk, please, may we give a number to this order that,
It will be Order 23-13.
all right. We have Order 23-13. Madam Clerk, please, would you read?
An order of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, terminating the current contract for electrical inspections. Whereas the city currently has a contract for performance of electrical inspections, and whereas the city believes it is in the best interest to give notice canceling this contract. Now therefore be it ordered by the Commission of the City of Richmond gives notice canceling the current contract for electrical inspections.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's the reading of Order 23-13. May we have a motion, please, for its approval?
I move.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Let's see, I believe all hearts and minds are clear. There's no other business to be conducted at this time. Again, thank you for your patience. And we will entertain a motion then to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
I'm ecstatic that this evening is over
Mayor
with.
Blythe?
Yes.
He's ecstatic.
Yeah.
Tell him